and welcome to People Profile. This is the show where we focus on people who are doing amazing things and we introduce them to you. My name is Bethany Jones Powell and I'm here this evening with Miss Michelle Josephs.
Hi.
She is the president of a non-profit organization which is known as Women Transforms International Incorporated. Good evening, Michelle. How are you feeling
I'm
today?
doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your organization.
Women Transforms is a organization, a non-profit organization that's geared towards abused women. We actually rehabilitate them, uplift them, empower them. You know, that's really that's the core of what we do.
Okay.
Uplifting
And
abused
how
women.
long have you been organized and active in the community?
Well, the organization was started a year ago, but I've been operating on my own, meeting people and mentoring and doing other stuff. But we actually got the organization together a year ago.
Oh, wow. So how did you get in touch with people, or how did people get in touch with you?
Well, through church, the community. I was meeting a lot of people through my church community as well.
I've heard them say that the physical abuse isn't always the worst of it. I've heard that emotional abuse.
Emotional and verbal is one of the most. it can be real crazy. Someone verbally abuses you, that really sets you back.
And so do you find that people are ready, that when they come to you, they're ready to leave a relationship, or is it a lot
Not
more
necessarily. Not necessarily. Sometimes there's something inside of them that still wants to stay with that abuse, but you try to encourage them and empower them, putting them at that point that they're realizing that they don't need to be, accepting what is there. They can move on and get a better life for themselves.
Okay. So I've heard that you have a show on the radio.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
We do have it's Relationships Gone Wild.
Relationships
That
Gone
is-
Wild. That sounds very interesting.
That is aired on WAVS radio between 10 and 11 p.m. on Saturdays.
Okay, and is that a call-in show? What kind of?
Yeah, it's a call-in
format?
show where people actually call in, share their opinions, their views, experiences, questions. If they want referral into the Women Transform International, then that's the platform that we use to cover all of that.
Okay, and so when you say referrals, who do you refer them to?
Well, if it's a male person that actually calls in, then we have affiliates that I refer them to. But if it's a female and she needs help, then I am the one that Women Transforms International actually deals with the
And
females.
Do you find that it is actual help that they need, or is it sometimes just somebody to listen to them?
Listening, they need someone to listen, because one of the main things is for you to be able to actively listen to what is happening, and then after listening, probing and finding out what the situation is, then they need help.
Okay.
So you steer them along the way of getting help.
And where do you get your information from? Is this something that you have researched yourself, or how do you make sure that you're giving them the right advice?
Research.
Yeah.
We do a lot of research to ensure that it's the correct information that we're passing on. And then based on the feedback that we're getting as well, then we know that is the correct information that we're passing on.
Okay, and unfortunately, many of us know tragic stories. We always hear, we read in the newspaper, or we hear on the radio, on TV, we hear about tragic situations where there's been some violence in a relationship and it has some really ugly outcomes. And when we hear these really distressing stories.
Right.
So how would you be able to intervene? What are some of the things that you can do to intervene?
Well, the first thing for me for the intervention is really to get to know the person. Make contact with me, and then when you make contact with me, then we have this welcome, this warm, it's like a family feeling that we try to create with that person and bring them into the organization, and then we take it from there, try to set a foundation for them, offering educational advices and stuff like that.
But does that make it dangerous for them? Is there a situation where they have to be very careful about how they approach you?
No.
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 So they contact you and
contact us. It's very open. Very open. It's not a dangerous situation.
You have a nonprofit organization,
Right.
Tell us about some of the fundraising things that you do.
We just recently had the Essence of a Woman Dinner Dance Gala that was held at maybe about February, I think it was February 14th, 15th. This was very good, very successful. We did very good. It was a dinner dance. People came in, they supported the organization, they supported what we were actually doing.
And where was that held?
That was held at I think it's Elegant Affairs Ballroom on Commercial
Yes.
Boulevard.
Okay.
So we got a good support. I also did a crowdfunding as well. I did get a good support from that too.
Okay.
And then we have companies that supports us as well. So yeah.
So do you target the West Indian community, or
Yes.
are you're trying to reach out to?
Reach out to, right, sex, creed, color, race,
Okay.
it's not really important. Just that if you need help, then that is what we're here for. But it has to be someone that really needs help.
Okay.
Not just want the help, but need to be, make that paradigm shift and make a transition in their life. So yeah, it
And-
doesn't matter really West Indian or,
Okay.
what the culture is.
And what about the children? How do you help the children?
Well, if we're helping the mother, then the child normally tags along with the mother.
Okay.
But we do offer mentoring for children as well.
Okay.
So,
Because I have always heard that one of the problems with an abusive home is that the children grow up seeing that.
right, absolutely.
And do you find that the mothers are motivated because of their children to try and break the cycle?
Sometimes it varies because sometimes with the kids, the mother feels that she's obligated to stay into that situation because she's trying to not upstart the children or cause any confusion. So she will live down, what's happening with her. She'll make a lot of compromises, but it doesn't have to be like that.
And I suppose also there's a financial aspect.
There's a financial aspect as well. So as long, I personally feel that if you empower these women, try to give them as much education, educate them as best as possible, then that would make a change in what they accept. That would help them to create a lot of boundaries for themselves. And, say, this is what I'm going to accept. I'm not going to accept this going forward. So,
Do you find that they believe that they deserve it? Is this part
Yeah.
of the psychology behind it?
That is part of the psychology. That has to do with the manipulation process that they go through. And, they need to get validated from other people and not themselves. So, yeah, they think that they deserve it. Yeah.
And what are some of the common themes when they come and talk to you? What are some of the things that, if I have a friend that she doesn't feel like she can confide in me, are there certain things that might be little hints that maybe I can tell by something that she says, or are there certain things that you hear over and over again?
Yeah, most of the things that I hear over and over again is the misconception that this person, I really thought he loved me, or I really thought this person really, cared about me, only to realizing that no, they didn't really care about you. They were just manipulating you and taking advantage of
So it's
The
more to do with
situation.
control.
control. It has to do everything with control.
Does it seem as if especially when we look at the immigrant situation, does it seem as if sometimes the stresses of coming to America, of trying to keep up appearances and keep up with the Joneses, or I'm a Jones, so keep up with people around them that seem to have this perfect life? Do you find anything of coming up from another country, coming into this culture and trying to get settled in? Does that seem to aggravate the situation?
It does. I think it does. I have personally, I have a sister that went through the same thing as well, trying to keep up with the Jones, and her husband was in New York and trying to bring all her kids into New York. She settled with abuse for years. And it was just by chance that we found out that she was being abused, and it all had to do with, quote unquote, trying to keep up with the Jones.
And we all know that we've all been there. We've all tried to keep up with society's expectations of us, what we think our parents expect of us, and what we think our role in life is. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back with you with a people profile with Michelle Joseph.
when we say the People Profile Awards is prestigious, don't take out one syllable of the meaning of the word prestigious. It's a black tie affair, nothing less. So uno try no say uno get anything nicely done, because I know the women are going to be so glamorous that the men have to organize themselves to walk beside their ladies. So please remember, prestigious affair, big neck something, and a pia business we are dealing with. I am going to be there, and as short as my neck is, I shall be in my black tie. You might not see much of the tie because of the shortness of my neck, but then, please, you with your long necks and thing, get there and be in your black tie. It's going to be a really, really fabulous affair.
Hi, and we're back with People Profile. Bethany Powell here talking with Miss Michelle Josephs about her organization, Women Transforms International Incorporated. Now, this international piece, tell us a little bit about where's the international connection? What else do you do?
Okay, we do work with like Children's Hospital, where I send clothes.
That's in Jamaica?
In Jamaica, Children's Hospital.
in Jamaica.
Bustamante Hospital.
Okay.
I do work with them. I also have a non-profit organization, Women in Need, that they're located in Aracabessa. It's a housing for 6 women. So I do work with them as
So
well.
that is a
Provide
residential shelter,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
And can they bring children there as well?
Yes, the mother does take her kids with her.
Oh, that's good. Arcabessa, that's a nice location
Yes.
for somebody that is retreating from a
All
scary
of this abuse,
situation.
and yes, it
Yes.
is.
Oh,
It is
beautiful,
really
beautiful.
It is.
So you're actively involved down there. Do you have any companies down there that support you in your mission?
The women in need.
Okay.
So whatever I have, I share with them, and whatever
Okay.
they have, they share with me as well. So we.
All right, and so would you like to see something like that here in South Florida?
That is my aim,
Okay.
to set up a shelter, because one of the struggles that I have, because I normally tend to get too emotional with this thing. So one of the struggles that I have is women going home after you have a session with them and they feel so good and enrich them and empower them, and then they have to go back into the abuse.
All right.
So my long-term goal would actually be to set up a shelter for me able to have a woman stay with me for like 6 months.
Okay.
And then at the end of the 6 months, she'll be able to go out, be independent and go out, be on her own, but still come back in.
So like a halfway house
Halfway
kind of
house,
thing, so
yes.
that they have the support before
Yes.
they can get back into society.
Absolutely.
And be
That
on their
would be my
be
intention,
independent.
yes.
Do you have any success stories to tell us? Is there anybody that you're particularly proud of? Of course, you don't have to mention any names,
Yes,
but is there one
yes.
particular person?
I actually am now even working with a she's just 18 years old.
Oh, wow.
She has a baby. Baby's 5 years old.
Okay.
And I just started working with her about 2 years ago, and I'm so happy now she was able to complete her high school. We're looking at getting her into a college. She really wanted to do to be an RN,
Oh, yes.
so I'm helping her with that. Moving her, she just went into a new shelter. So yeah, it's very nice when you really help a woman, and she come back and she said, "Michelle, I really thank you. You have made a difference in my life."
I can imagine.
Then it.
So you're drawn to this kind of work. You've already told me that you have a personal connection to these women. But what else do you do? Because I heard a little bird told me that you're going to be getting an award shortly.
Yes, I'll be getting an award from the city of Lauderdale for mentoring and volunteer work that I do in the community.
Oh, wow.
And that's going to be on March 27th. I'm one of the honorees.
Okay, and so what other, you apart from your nonprofit organization, which other organizations are you involved with?
I'm involved with Big Brother, Big Sisters as well. I do mentoring for them.
Okay,
So So that is a plus as well.
So you're independently wealthy, I imagine. You must have a lot of money. You inherited a lot of money, so you're able to give back. Is that it? Are you
No.
like one of these wealthy society women? Is that what your secret is?
No, I wish I was. I have a 9 to 5 job.
Oh.
I'm a vice president for Furniture Installation Solutions.
Oh wow.
We do install office furniture, so that's my daytime job. So whatever time I have left over, then that's the time I put into what. Hopefully in another 2 years or so, I'll be able to put all of that behind me and deal with this woman.
So those of you
100%.
who think that you're too busy to give back, who think you're too busy or you have to earn a living and pay your bills, just know that you can follow
Okay.
somebody like Michelle Josephs, who is here inspiring us and humbling us as we realize that no, we should not have an excuse. This is not just about us and what we can get in this country, but who is here that is less well off than us that maybe we can reach out to and just being that supportive hand and giving them good advice. And we can make a difference in their
Make a
lives.
difference.
And that is more rewarding, I
It
imagine,
is,
than
it
any
is, it
paycheck.
is. And as I told you before, when I my dad died when I was just 3, and my mother was a school teacher, and he left her with 10 kids, and I was the baby of the 10.
Oh, wow.
And I watched my mother over the years. She brought us up. Can you imagine a school teacher?
With 10 children.
10 children, no salary.
Oh, wow.
And she did all different odds and ends. She did dressmaking, she did baking, everything to help us to be where we are right
Oh,
now.
wow. So she was working 24/7.
She was working 24/7
Oh, wow,
and
just to
didn't
support you.
remarry or anything. She did everything on her own.
Oh, wow.
So that is where some of my passion came from as well. That I know women are able, they have the inner strength
That's right.
to pull through. They
That's
just
right.
believe in themselves.
So you're very involved and you reach out to people, but how about if right here you could reach out and say, okay, anybody needs me right now, anybody that is watching this interview, that is hearing me, that knows that they need some help, that recognizes the person that you are describing, somebody who has lost their sense of self, who believes whatever their man tells them, or woman, because it's not just
Vice versa,
it's
right?
not just
Absolutely.
women that are in these situations. How can they contact you?
I can be contacted. My cell phone number, I'd be more than happy to share that. It's 954-296-0911. So if you're at that place in your life where you need to make that transition or you make that paradigm shift, give me a call. I'd be more than happy to help you. It's 954-296-0911.
So again, those of us who think that we know better and oh no man could ever do that to me, I'm far too sensible for that to happen. Is it only one class of woman that
No.
it happens to?
No.
Is it only people that don't have an education and
No.
find themselves to be no?
Some of those educated women are going through abuse. Some of those women that are driving that luxury car and that big house they live in, they're going through that abuse. And just because of society and they just want to be living like the Joneses,
Correct.
then they accept that.
And do you find that it has physical effects as well as, I mean, we were talking before about emotional abuse being sometimes the more long-lasting and harder to recover from. But does it have a physical toll as well, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. As a matter of fact, when you're stressed, it ages you.
We don't want that.
Exactly.
Yes.
It ages you, so you just have to have this happy, carefree spirit about you. And what I try to do, I try to tell women, like me personally, every morning I get up, I look in my mirror, my affirmation is, I am Michelle Josephs and I love me. And I feel good about me. And that's it.
That sounds very simple.
But it's very powerful. I love me. I love me. I feel good about me. You don't have to validate me. You don't have to tell me that I look good. I know within myself. And I'm not just talking about physical beauty, I'm talking about inner beauty as well.
Yes. Many of us were brought up to put ourselves last, and women in particular are putting everybody else's needs last. They make sure that they take care of their man, their children, the home, and then very last is
No,
themselves.
you gotta put yourself, because I don't know if you notice when you're on an airplane and they're giving you the mask to put on, they tell you you gotta take care of you first. And then if you have a kid, you help the kid. Because if you don't take care of yourself, then who's going to help the kid? So you got to take care of you. You got to love you. You got to put you first. It might sound selfish, but women need to take that position right now. It's all about me.
Again, Michelle Josephs is giving us some very powerful messages here, and it may sound simple. Love yourself, say affirmations, look at yourself in the mirror, and tell yourself you're looking good. This may seem very simple, but there are many women that don't have the power to do that, that need somebody to remind them how special they are,
Yes.
and how much they are needed and loved. And that love has to begin with self.
It has to begin with. So the greatest love of all is to love yourself. And a lot of women tend to love the husband more than how they love themselves. No. I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. I love me first and then me.
And do you have any children?
Yeah, I do. I have 2 kids. I have
Boys, girls?
2 boys.
2 boys. So how can you tell your sons to make sure that they set a good example and they have a healthy relationship?
Well, with my sons, especially the youngest one, he's 13. He doesn't listen to what you're saying. He watches your actions. So he plays the piano. So most of the time he's just watching what the actions around him. So I not just only tell him, teach him, but I also act around him, because that is what he catches on to quicker than me saying it. So based on my actions, then he knows how important it is to treat women with respect and love.
So ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there and you need some help, Michelle is here, 954-296-0911. So if you have an emergency, 296-0911.
Exactly.
And tap into her experience and her love and her caring. On behalf of People Profile, I'd like to invite you all to be a part of this year's awards ceremony on June 18th. It's going to be at the Bailey Hall. You can call right now and get your tickets online, baileyhall.org. Once again, Michelle Josephs, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us and your passion. And again, no excuses, folks. I don't care if you have to earn a living and work 9 to 5. You can give back as well.
You can do it. You can make that change. You definitely can.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're most welcome. And thank you for having me as well, okay? All right, bye-bye.